want to get the elephant out of the room first is that, okay, so in my last blog, we mentioned there's a restructuring of the company as we prepare to scale up. There's also a big other info that I haven't shared publicly, which I tagged the Omega and the Primevals to let you guys know what is actually happening, of course, in the company. What happened with the restructuring is that I fired probably two-thirds, well, half, close to two-thirds of the company, including letting go of Lawmaster, which is Orange. Well, not letting go. He's still part of the co-founders and everything, but he's out of the. But he's no longer going to be in part of the execution and operational management. It comes at a rather rough decision. There are several factors that lead us into making this decision. For one, of course, is there are two factors. One is of course the overall product and the direction with which we're going, and our ability to focus on creating a product that, well, as you can say, as hard and as Manic have put, it's not to the expectation. And after seeing the God Game prototype and seeing the new Spirit Core designed, especially coupled with the Trump tariffs and the economic concern growing over Asia, I think it's time that I make a tough call and restructure the whole team. Treasury-wise, we're still good, but we're probably only good for like pushing remainder one of the good products out, coupled with the marketing. There are also some new funding coming in, but it's more important that I'd say we have like 1 to 2 bullets left, frankly speaking, and I want to use it on the right thing. As Hart have put it, we've tried several things, jumped the gun on the 2 new things. I wouldn't put it so bleak, but I don't want to go into semantics right now. But I think we've built something coming up that always with a rather large scope and a rather big junction. Not big junction, but with a scope too large, and the team has been unable to scale towards that scope and vision. That's why coming up in the short term, as we restructure, the point of the restructure is to scale up production. But the production should not remain in Hong Kong. The burn rate with the 60-man team in Hong Kong is just too great. It's around 400 to 500K per month. Right now, I've put this down to around 150, around 200K per month, which is a lot less. But we're going to be using some extra budget to employ new teams in China, or to find new teams in China and Southeast Asia, in terms of developing more products and testing more markets. But the scope is actually much less compared to before. The people that I laid off in the company, there's a few things. I'll just be spreading everything. I'll refocus after I finish everything. What I find mainly are the game designers. I think the game designers that are mainly responsible for the PvE and the God game side is really not doing a great job. And then the other side is there's some artists here, some artists there, some programmers that we think have been rather lacking and could be hired in other places at a better price and be more efficient. But some of them are rather old employees, but still, I guess the decision has to be made. It's a necessary thing, I think, we have to do in order to ensure the survival of Epsilon and also the healthy state of the team. In terms of the management style, a lot is going to change. Going to be expanding the team to include more people, but we are going to including more people from the Web3 side is what I want. I think I want to employ a bit more from the community and from Web3 side to manage the Web3 community and some of the socials and some of the development direction of where the staking system is going to go. But anyway, what's next is that we need to focus on something with a little less, with a smaller scope, which is the Telegram minigame. We've been working on it for almost 5 to 6 months now, I'm going to give it a little bit more time because I feel that we finally hit on something like with a more manageable scope and something that's actually very interesting. But this time around, we're not going to rush it. We will also run some tests with the community regarding this later. But this time around, we will line up probably the right marketers and everything to do it right. The meme marketers from before, sadly, have proven to be rather useless and actually very short-sighted. Talk big, but not actually helping. Quite a mistake in employing them and giving them supply. Though, well, from a business sense, I don't think they're doing the wrong thing. It's just that, well, I don't envision a short-term goal for duty. Still, I will be using duty and everything, and the mini game to launch a small test over summer. But this time around, the company right now focuses on two things. Well, the very first thing would be to make sure the new team and the new communication style is settled. And one of the main things that we must do is to be able to scale production. It's not exactly scale up the company size, but it's being able to adopt new teams, new team members, and a new communication style, so that we can actually react faster and quicker. And this cannot be done in Hong Kong, sadly. There's not enough resource pools here, and the average price is too high. So over the past 2 months, 2 to 3 months actually, I've been traveling a lot to different exhibitions, meeting a lot of different people to try and search for a good outsourcing company, different people, so that we can scale this properly and find the right teams. So two things that are going to work is, okay, so I know we're proud of our art style and everything, but it's also one of the things that cause our production speed to be very low. So we must accept the fact that, okay, so we have some of the core and the designs and everything down, and we can make quality stuff over in Hong Kong. But in order to scale, in order to be faster and work faster, we need to employ artwork outsourcing, meaning some of the artwork may have to try a different art style, a simpler art style that can be more manageable and created by outsourced companies, so that we can try produce things a bit more quicker. Namely, not just the Aperon game, but also other side mini games and expanding other stuff, so that we can increase our audience. The core team will still handle Aperon and the NFT assets and everything. The tough decision now comes in deciding where to deploy the resources, because right now the team is halved in size, and we'll be employing new people. But I mean, after the AI implementation changes, where do we focus on is a big issue for us. Some of the core players here, of course, wish we focus on the PvP side of things, which is what LoreKeeper suggests, to make a pure PvP version of Aperon on mobile. With the AI implementation, the auto battling will help a lot of earlier users to adapt. They don't even have to press anything, actually. The AI is like a full auto battle mode. But of course, you can still turn manual on and fight. Probably will have a lot of high level players will still fight manually, but all the early users will be using AI or can fight other AIs, which helps solve a lot of the player liquidity issues. Also, with a PvP only version, then we can focus on player retention and growth and the learning curve that's more similar to probably what we see in Brawl Stars and Squad Buster is what we're referencing on. The other side is actually still Duty Pals, the mini animated series and the mini game. We've reached quite several partnerships over in the past that really will help the IP bloom. But again, the weakness that we've always had, I think, is the marketing, which, we'll be spending quite some time recruiting new people, testing, and planning the strategy to ensure that when we do go out with the IP and the new season coming up, that we can grab the right people and be able to, find the right audience. But still, as mentioned, it will take a little longer because I don't have time to really fuck around and screw around anymore. And I really have to prepare for what comes next. At the same time, it's hard for me to exactly lay out a lot of the game plan, because from the past, laying out too much information have resulted in a lot of front running. You guys will have to understand that still we're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Still at Treasury and still trying to make things right, but the right thing this time. The price actions and everything, hopefully, well, we'll have a good way to lay it out, but and recoup, but probably will not be disclosing too much how we plan to do so to stop front running. Both Duty and APRS and Anima have suffered significantly from previous front running by me being too trusting and also overconfident, and not being able to factor into many issues. We don't have a lot of chances left, but this time around I want to do it right. And I will have to need a bit more time in order to get this done. No, don't worry though, I'm not talking about by years, just need a couple more months. But overall, we still have some high hopes for what we're expecting to do. The IP and everything, having met all the Web 2 side and seen all the reception and getting new partnerships, I know the interest is still there. We can still compete with Web 2. But this time around with a smaller scope and humbler plan to attract and sustain a more core audience. We'll still try on the Web3 side. I mean, the initial closed beta and everything, I still have planned to utilize Duty and BSC. There are still some plans over there that will help. But ultimately, it is still a Web2 path that I chose for Duty and the minigame. Quite a lot to take in. But right now, there is a course of action that we're planning. But still, this time around, also want to get some input from more of the community members. I mentioned in the Omega Club, and then to some members, that's to ask them for what they think that needs to be done first, what they hope to see changed, and we'll compile this list. So far, we've had quite a lot of suggestions. A lot of it is regarding our various facets. Some for the VIP staking system, some for gameplay suggestions, and some actually for how the IP and everything grows. We just came back from Hangzhou. We'll post some of the stuff there. Hangzhou has like a animation IP festival. It's one of the biggest in China every year. It's smaller compared to last year, this year though, because the overall economy in China is actually quite bad. But the products are still popping and the tech is still blooming. It's just that a lot of the overseas injection that China had in the past are no longer present. So it's a very tougher market. Very much a tougher market for them and for Hong Kong as well. But still, we see a lot of new projects, especially ones integrating AI popping up. And then in terms of IP scaling and finding partnerships, a lot of people came over to explore partnerships in terms of getting Duty out. This time frame I don't mind sharing is that the IP, the micro animations and the mini game, and the main series is set to go out in Web 2 around October. And that's when all the new merchandise and the partnerships can also be set together. But things will move earlier than that, hopefully. But the Web 2 side takes time, and the merchandise and everything takes time also. So there are still things happening. There are still interests around the IP and the product. Also had some meetings with Tencent and Sega, some publishers. The reviews for them on the gameplay is actually not bad, but both comments have the same, is that the user interface is not too mobile friendly. And also some of the monetization and retention tactics should be put in, like, the usual 7-day login and the battle pass mechanics need to be more clear. But one of the main things that's they are still more concerned is like the Web3 element. Both of the larger publishers so far are requesting a version without NFTs and tokens if possible. But I think that takes a little longer. Still, when we look for outsourcing other than art outsourcing, is game design and gameplay outsourcing. I think a lot of the core gameplay methods, a lot of the core artwork has been established. And with the especially with the new duty ranch system, there are two teams that I'm looking for. One is to help use the minigame structure we have and try on a lot more different types of minigame maps. You can imagine it's like reskinning or repurposing the core gameplay, but try new game modes for the minigame, so that we can expand different types of audience and grow that faster. Minigames at this group, like these micro apps, can be produced much faster. So that's something. In terms of the core assets, also want to employ a new team. This one probably will still be a bit more in-house in the beginning. Is that I want to find new teams. Well, I don't need to innovate gameplay over there. I practically just I need to clone maybe a Squad Buster, clone some COC games, clone some chess games using Aperon skins, the NFTs and the assets and everything, and just create new types of games that utilize the same planets, the same tokens, and expand on the audience base. This is what I think may be worth exploring, but still, it comes to finding the right team. It's not just me imagining what may work and then find a random team. I mean, over the past, we've all learned that the right team. I mean, there's many grand visions and everything, but it comes down to what the team is most capable of and good at, or already have the source actually, in order to decide what best product could be made. That's mostly everything I think I should be saying for now. Feel free to type questions and make suggestions. Actually collecting a lot more suggestions these days to see where we should be headed. In terms of Aperon, we're still targeting to do like some implementations. The AI implementation is actually quite huge, so that the auto battle can be in there. And with the auto battle, there can be many other game modes available that can attract and appeal to other audiences. So I really look forward to that before deciding a lot of other stuff. And especially now that I've cut off a lot of the people out there, it's better that we focus on something that's more controllable. Don't rest assured, I'll still be developing Aperon, but mostly should we be developing. Well, should we be for this short term until we find the right teams to scale and everything? It's still a decision to decide whether we should try to refine a game with such a large scope, or should we focus on expanding possibilities by using more proven and easier adopted methods? There was one thing I wanted to say as well. Regarding the coming up seasons and adjustments and everything. In season 7, I want to try remodeling the leaderboard a little bit. Also want to take some suggestions here. The new season 7 should come in June 7th. Not going to give out APRS, I'm going to give out USDT. But the leaderboard does not only apply to the PvP. I want to do it a bit more like Big Time, where it's an overall ecosystem leaderboard. PvP ranking, of course, contributes to the points here, a large portion as well. But there are other portions, namely like how much assets you hold, how much minting, breeding, or utilization of the tokens have you spent. I mean, aggregate of everything. If you've played Big Time, you know that the seasonal leaderboard actually revolves around the usage of their tokens, and then they distribute their tokens back. So it's sort of like a giant rebate system. But for Aperon, I think giving out some USDT to incentivize people not just to play the game, but also to hold more assets or to utilize their assets, to utilize the tokens will be a bit more appealing and more helpful for the ecosystem. And we'll propose something out there, and then next week, and then we can see how the community thinks about it. You can think of it. It's sort of like the Anima airdrop leaderboard, like where we accumulated all the holdings, the minting. But that one is like from history. Like this one is per season. Or well, you can wait until we propose the new leaderboard structure, and then we can come together and discuss. Finally, the token price. I think I found out who. There's one gaming fund and one gaming guild that's been doing quite badly, just like because their entire portfolio are games. So you can imagine how bad their fund is. So I think they're winding up and they are liquidating their assets because they are the ones who are also asked if I want to OTC their remaining supply and everything. But I told them to hold on and everything, and then it seems they can't wait anymore, and so they're dumping on the charts over there. I would assume, not confirmed. There's no names mentioned, but it should happen because I know their portfolios have been rather sad. I will find out a bit more. Let's see. As for Doody, I think Doody, a lot of the holdings out there, if I count supply, a lot of it is actually in these BSC MEV bots that tend to hold and everything. So the larger dump right now, still digging through the addresses, seem to be some of these MEV bots that's offloading their entire position across several things. And the other side would probably be some of these meme guys that we've been partnering with. And yeah, they've been dumping all along. One of the things that I learned in the memes that like, they don't have a real strategy. But anyway, I don't want to talk bad about them. I can talk about this maybe in Omega or anything. I don't want to do this in the first channel. But yeah, a lot of lesson learned over in the past, especially the meme guys. Actually, I think the only good thing about the guys is that they are connected to some KOLs and some platforms that does memes. That helps me get a better pricing. But that's all. Not really useful in terms of other strategy. The real thing that they do is actually try to get the project owner to spend money to pump, and then they keep selling and liquidating and then moving on to another project, which is quite useless. Yeah, but luckily they didn't give them out too much supply. But still, need to absorb what we can back before we go out again. Okay, I didn't talk too much. That's mostly it. Okay, let's take a look at some of the questions in the chat first. How long is short term? Which part of short term are you asking? The production capacity, or which short term are you asking about, Hans? I agree, giving out the tokens as a reward is not necessarily ideal, but just giving out USDC is not ideal either. I spend a heck ton of USDC during AGW and USDT over there, only to get extremely negative ROI. So probably it comes from the leaderboard and the distribution. We should incentivize people for not just playing, but also helping the ecosystem, which will make the leaderboard and the reward more healthy. Of course, the PvP and the leaderboard and the gameplay will also make up a large portion of the points, but yeah. I don't think will be delisted from Bybit, from my understanding. At least not with the current marks. Well, they are good. They do send out weekly reports regarding our standing, so everything is okay. Actually, a lot of exchanges, at least the top tier ones, they don't delist you based on the token price. They locally delist you because of depth issues or volume issues. But it's not that harsh, actually. The ones that delist people because of token price is actually tend to be more the tier 2 and the shadier ones. And if you want to know where the biggest selling pressure is in the mid run, mostly it's always from the CEX themselves, not the actual investors or the retails, actually. If you look at a lot of the charts in the Binance Alpha and the Binance launches over the past 3 months, there's quite a pattern over there. Not saying just Binance, most exchanges actually sell a lot of the tokens that they say they are going to use for marketing. Okay, I'll get this in writing regarding the coming plans and some directions. It would be easier for the people from other languages as well. But I'll probably leave this in the Omega channel or the asset holder channel for our asset holders. We do have some suggestions as to how to handle the multi accounts. That's prevalent. I'll address what some of this. Okay, let me take a look at the AMA question side. Oh yeah, God Game definitely going to find a studio out there to work together with us on that one. Actually, I really want to do the God Game in-house in Hong Kong, but until I can find a game designer and a UX designer that's really good, which is very, very hard to find in Hong Kong, actually very hard anywhere. I mean, the UX designer is probably the most toughest job in this world to find. But I do want to find a good game design. We have the core design documents, everything down, but I need to find better game designers or better gaming studios out there that are a bit more experienced and probably have to be somewhere in China, Southeast Asia. The only trade-off, if I find them, is that it will probably lean on less innovative elements and have to find a simulation game that they can copy off of. I mean, this is the bad thing about cheaper developers. I mean, they can, if you give them something to copy, they can do it very fast and quite efficiently actually. But if you tell them to do something new and there's nothing to copy, they tend to be slow and buggy, which is what most innovation is. Giving up on APRS or duty, but spending treasury to maintain pricing without a clear course of action and way to incentivize utility is not going to sustain or be healthy. So the right path forward is to make sure that we create the right product, shape up operations and marketing, and do it properly together. I will definitely have treasury to do this, but probably only once or twice only left. and I will make sure that this time around I get more advice and the right team members here. But still, remember, I mean, can't promise anything on price action. I'm not going to invite any sort of front running. So don't try to lure me into saying that sort of stuff. Okay, back to the AMA side. If there's any questions, I'll do another AMA next week. Maybe after I type out these plans and everything in the Omega and the Holder channels. And then once you read it, you can ask questions, and then I can circle back to them in the next AMA. A lot of the time that we are spending, other than the Hangzhou IP licensing show and everything, after the restructuring, is that I just keep drilling on the scope and the schedule of what we're doing next. What's wrong in the past is that like it's very hard for the team to follow the schedule. Like there's the bar and the scope is too big, and there's always new things popping up here and there, delaying. But this time around, I really want to set a scope and calendar that we can stick to, and the team clearly knows that we're headed here together. It's quite a different management styles that I want to create. The previous one is more adhered to Lawmaster. But this time around, I want to try a more traditional style that's more me. It will take time, but I think it will be a better communications. And I don't need the team to fall in love with each other, but I need to set a clear direction of which everyone knows and follows. And also, there's a grand schedule that everyone knows what everyone else is doing, including the community and the investors. So let's try to set that down and make sure that we stick to it. I'll type most of this down in terms of the ideas and stuff and what we hope to get input for. I'll type this up over this weekend or early next week. There are still some things that I want to confirm with the team. But yeah, this is mostly it. It's not an easy time and an easy decision, especially AGW and everything. Honestly, wanted to still go ahead with it, but it's not wise to spend all that resource over there like that. So we'll still do that, let them do the tournaments, we'll still distribute the rewards for those users, we'll still utilize the match to help promote Season 8 and the new Summoner and the new gameplay system and the classes over there to do what we can. But yeah, let's prepare a bit more and get it right. I know it's disappointing that things cannot be turned around quicker, sooner, and more proper. But if you still have the patience and the confidence, well, not confidence, but belief that we can still turn this around, well, I'm not going to rest until we do. But this time, let's just take a bit of a pause and a time to think what really should do, and we can all do together and move forward. Impossible to satisfy everyone, but at least this time around, let's just let everyone know what's happening and why we choose this. If this path is not what you hope to be followed, then well, you can always let us know why, or you can liquidate the assets. But I mean, liquidating assets here right now is I don't even know why one would do that. I mean, it's already so low. But yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to take that supply at this current market cap. So yeah, I mean, we're not giving up and we're not running anywhere. So don't worry, we'll be building, but we'll be doing it a bit more properly this time around. There's still a lot of things that we have yet to show the world, but let's do it properly and make sure we do it right. All right, okay. Going back to auto chess is probably one of the easiest side game modes we can also try implement, especially after the AI controls are in. It's actually not exactly auto chess, is it? Because the characters will move by themselves. That's controlled by AI. We can set different difficulty levels and control levels for the AI, which we can implement together with some new characters. Quite a lot of possibilities now that the apostles and avatars can move on their own and release skills on their own. We'll be implementing the new AI, the smarter AI version. It's not that smart right now. I mean, won't be trouble for you guys, but it will be trouble for. Well, it will provide a good challenge for the new players. Like the previous practice bot that you guys see. I mean, even the Anouk can, well, actually Anouk will lose to it, but still it's a better AI. It gives a bit more challenge, gives a bit more thrill to the battle, and they will also take up majority of the early user matching. We'll be improving the matching and player liquidity system so that new players are ensured to match at least some of these AIs or players that they can win, to make sure that their win rate stays high and they're retained. As for how to deal with the multi-accounts and the multiple NFT asset owners, we have some plans, but would be more than happy to take advice from the community, because you guys are the ones who play more games out there and own multiple assets in different games. Which games have done a good job in managing player expectations, or maybe scholarship or multiple accounts or something. But that is one fact that you all must face, which I will clearly lay out to you, is that there are not enough Web3 gamers out there to sustain any gaming economy. Okay, there are gamers out there in Web3 that will go around and hunt tokens or early release coins, and season 1, season 2 is out there, but there's hardly any game that can sustain because there's just not enough Web3 gamers. So creating systems that appeal to Web3 gamers is a very tough and hard cause, because people like to hunt new coins, and they will always look for ways to extract. At the end of the day, it's a zero-sum game. Like, everyone just wants to benefit and profit from the plays, but then nobody can, not unless we find some new players and new people or new ways to attract the economic cycle and start the flywheel. There's no way there's enough players to do this. So this is something that you guys should understand. I put this around 10, 12,000 players max out there. We shouldn't be trying to fight for this market share. We can get their attention here and there, but their attention ain't meant to last. So we can do something in terms of short sprints or everything for them. But in the long run, if we are creating systems, we should be targeting more sustainable income sources and revenue. Does it come from the battle pass systems, or does it come from a leaderboard distribution, reward, or taxation, VIP staking? You see, a lot of these require a lot of change in the contracts, everything. And after working on all these contracts, also have to audit. The development and implementation time of these measures is actually very large and very long and quite costly, because Web3 development and Web3 contract development is actually more costly. And after making all these changes to serve the small Web3 gaming audience, who may be more willing to spend a bit more, but still at the end of the day, they're here to speculate and to try to profit, may not be the best use of resources. unless of course there's a very genuinely interesting new idea that can break the chain, then definitely worth exploring. But so far, haven't really seen any yet. I'll go over some of the other proposals and what I'm going to type out later, and also point out some of the pros and cons of these proposals that come from the community, and discuss with everyone what we think of them, which one we can implement first or second, or in what form do we implement or address these issues. We'll try to do that, and then we can discuss from there. We've got some time to hammer down the scope. Hopefully we get it done, this new scope and direction, in these 2 weeks, and also get some new testing done here and there. But yeah, give us your input if you still care, or if you still want to contribute. This time around is really the time that we are listening. Okay, a lot of you have given a lot of suggestions and stuff, and it never got heard or never got implemented. But now that we are in this restructuring and in this juncture, I would want to hear everything first and lay it out there with everyone to discuss together. So if you have the time or anything, please tell us. Please write it down. Not give me tell me over a call. It's very hard to just listen to ideas. If you can put it down in a written document, in a proposal with some supporting images if possible, everything helps. Every bit helps. Having some summary also helps. Using language that is more neutral definitely helps the reader to filter out the emotions. I know that everyone's very emotional, but me too, and the developers too. So emotions, most often than not, may not help the case. Not everyone reads everything neutrally. But anyway, I don't want to complicate things. If you have ideas, send it to me. I can filter it for you. But please send it in like a document or format. I'll type out what I can over the weekend and early next week, and then you guys can take a look at that and then send us your suggestions. Once we do, I'll target to host another AMA next Saturday or Sunday. And then we can discuss further from there. Multi-chain planned. We will be exiting the Ronin exclusivity clause is ending November. The new mini games can be going to different chains. What Mainland suggested is something that I highly want to explore previously, using the Vision meme coin concept and minigame concept. But the problem is it's doing multi-chain contracts, as I said before, working on contracts is not that fast or easy or simple. At least not from my current teams or even my previous teams. Development prowess. Usually contract stuff usually runs in like 1 to 2 months time frame, including audit, because we usually have the audits and then readjust. But there are some things that can be done sooner. Instead of working on multi-chain, I think targeting some new chains to work something new on is definitely better. Yeah, there always need to be a new call to action when you couple with a new chain. You can't just bring everyone to another new chain and hope things work. You need if you go to a new chain, there may need to be a new mint or a new form of thing that people can participate in. Definitely should explore that. Ori Seekers of Tokane. Orori? Let me search that. Can you DM me, Sinon? More info on this? And do you think they have capacity? And even heck, is it? Maybe we can. I mean, some of the things that I talk to the Web2 IPs is that we work on crossover marketing, where we allow the use of each other's IP and also promise a certain product to be done for each other's IP together. Because that's actually the multi-first thing. Sad not to see much implementation, though. It's not as easy as people think. I think building some semi-idle games, I think one of the things that I like more to go forward in the future, if there is that I want to create games using Apron assets. But in order for people to excel and play there, they should pay. And once they pay, we can, based on the payment over there, use it to either for leaderboard rewards or for buybacks of the tokens on the ecosystem will be a lot more healthier than, say, they idle farm or grind and we give them tokens. Yeah, also significantly, we need to improve the utility of Animus and APRM in order to encourage more usage. Encourage. I know. When I ask for suggestions, people will easily try to think of new systems instead of optimizing the current systems or enhancing the current versions. It's also always easier to destroy and rebuild instead of improving current systems. But I encourage and implore you all to try and look deeper into all the different features and systems we've already built and optimize those. The plan has always been actually to build and complete most of the features, and once the core set of features are in, we can start to optimize. But it seems that we keep building new ones because new ones actually take time to develop. But if we are counting, we're just one system short from like the complete features. It's actually the scholarship system, which is half done, and I don't think right now that is the key in completing the system because it's just because it's not helpful towards the new Web2 players right now. Well, quite a lot. You can wait for me to type the things out first, and then you guys can read and see. I'll try to be concise about it, and then you guys can Google Translate that, and then give us your suggestions. Cambria, I don't know if they can sustain a good season 2. Would love to learn how those who lost in the first season come back. Like, what is the system they use to incentivize the people who lost big or got their stuff stolen to come back? I mean, this is the part that I don't really see a solution yet. But yeah, feel free to let us know and fill us. 2D Ranch, the first issuance version is going to be on both Telegram and Line. But in my opinion, we have a high chance to turn that into a minigame and put that into Google Play and iOS, because still if the potential of Building Ranch is limited and its life cycle is like 1 to 2 months, much like other mini games out there, mini apps out there, then we won't spend too much budget into further enhancing it and get it across multiple platforms. But from what we see and what I play and how we envision it, I think it's has a lot of potential. And if it does, then it doesn't need to be there. The more accessible option is actually to go on Google Play and iOS and release from there. But yeah, Shooting Ranch will be on both Telegram and Line upon the first closed beta. More information I'll share with you guys later down the road. I think the IP direction with which we're going, like Duty, Line is a good gateway because Line's core audience is in Japan, Taiwan, and Thailand, and the art style and the cuteness and everything actually shares more actual similarity to Aperon and Dudes versus Telegram, where it's more mainly crypto heavy users here for everything. But still, we do want to go on Telegram. For one, we decided to go on Telegram in the first place, and we hired a Telegram team to help us build the early mode. We took it back ourselves now. That team is not that great. Yeah, but also if we want to go for the Web2 partnerships and everything, and expanding to the next level, getting some numbers is still necessary. And Telegram is a good place for numbers. So for one, we can attract more users, maybe real users from the line side. While Telegram side, we can use it to get some healthier, decent numbers to help with the subscription numbers over there for the micro animations channel. But still, yeah, I mean, there's a social media strategy that we are planning. But I'm still struggling whether we should cross-pollinate between Web 2 and Web 3 early. So I'll think about it. Well, let's see if it lasts. I mean, a lot of games, season 1 and early seasons they have the element of surprise and the element of new. So everyone thinks it works. I mean, even our early seasons, well, come on. But after a few seasons, is it really there? Does it sustain? Is actually the total problem. Imagining it can sustain versus if it actually does sustain are very two different things. But let's take a look as well and see if there's anything that we can learn and usable. No, I haven't mentioned any timeline, and I don't want to mention any timeline yet. I want to get the scope done first and the direction down first. I think it's a very big mistake to keep talking about the timeline and promising a timeline without sharing and understanding the core direction of which everyone's going. Of course, on the back end, I have a big schedule myself that I think we can adhere to, but I don't want to be bogged down by those too much. Way back, the minigame will be launched this year. But definitely not that back. You guys will be able to test the minigame soon, after our initial test. But let's focus on the main problem here. I know you guys want to know schedules, want to know everything, but the core problem that I mentioned in this AMA is, okay, there's a big restructuring. And the new direction of where Aperon should be headed and how we should amend things is in question. So let's focus on solving these problems first and identifying a clear path before narrowing down back again onto timelines and launches, okay? There shouldn't be any plans about the APRS price in the short term. We'll let the market dictate how it flows in the short term, together with duty. The current focus of the company is to shape up and to refocus our efforts. Capital will not be spent to protect pricing or to buy back, although maybe some buybacks here and there, but it wouldn't be huge. I wouldn't want to use it like that. The playtest of the God game will likely take more time. Next season's rewards will be in USDT according to my proposal. You guys can take a look at the proposal and give us a feedback. But the next season reward will not just be PvP. There's no timeline on deciding when the next playtest of the card game is right now. There's no definitive one. Sorry, I cannot answer that. There's been some developments going on and on about the card game, but the results of the development have been rather disappointing. That's why I fired half the company and the company that's responsible for creating it. No, not the company, but the partner that's supposed to help create it. The development in these 2 months will definitely be slower until we find decent new partners to carry on the scope and correct the scope. We will focus on hiring new developers, hiring new partners that can help create the card game faster and with better quality. But albeit probably the cost is with less innovation. Well, the whole reason for the restructuring is to make sure we have treasury to sustain it. Griffin 在 AMA 问的问题我报一下。PVE 我们现在应该不会花太多资源去做Apron PVE 那边。如果是真的要让user attached to Apron 那个 IP 怎么样，我们可能花多一点时间在拓展 Apron 的 IP， 在 social media 上做多一些故事的东西，在小游戏里面培养他们跟赌的一些感情。PVP AI 系统进去了以后，有 auto 有自动战斗之后，其实可以产生很多不同的黄送结构，意思就是很多不同的 game mode 可以飞出来，而这些 game mode 都可以让新的用户或普通的用户更容易去操作跟玩这个游戏，而且那个 matching 的话也会好了很多。我们是想多找一些 token utility 代币赋予。如果你看得到有好的双代币做得好的话呢，请通知。但是会想看一些不是新的，而是已经营运了最少1-2个 season、3个 season 或8年、1年的游戏来看，而不是一些新的，因为很多时候新的好像看起来挺可以，但是后来也是坚持不了。所以如果你要找到好的，请跟我说一下。Okay, back to the questions over here. No, I was answering the questions on the AMA channel. There's a Chinese question, so I was answering that. How many years further or months can you sustain Aperon PvP? I mean, if it's just sustaining that Aperon PvP alone, then it actually doesn't cost much. It's more about how to improve it or how to expand possibilities to make sure that we have new income coming and not putting it there. So I don't exactly know what you're suggesting, but in terms of runway and treasury, we're fine. And there's actually also hopefully some new funding coming in from the Web2 as well. It just takes forever for them to do due diligence in these economies. I think for the next season, I wouldn't put a huge focus on acquiring too many users, because for the next season, which is coming up next month, we're still right after the restructure, and we'll need to improve the team's ability to operate and maintain social media and advertisements. It will definitely be lucrative, or at least a lot more attractive for our existing users, because it's a USDT reward. You can take a look at the proposal first, and then you can see. That is correct, APT. The God game will have to wait. Patata, yes, it's next season. The overall leaderboard is what I want to try to implement. But I have to talk to the right members and the right teams to see if we have the capacity to do it. We certainly should have, because we've done something similar for the 2D airdrop, but it was like more like a one-off thing. If we do it seasonally, what sort of things will need to be implemented and how much time and effort needs to be spent needs to be recalculated. Still hiring all of the time. I can't say we have one right now. Although the company, there's actually a guy who does game design, but and who's still remaining. But still, I want to look for a better one to do so. Building functions information will come a little later. If you're talking about the God game, find the game design. Sharing fiction is not that difficult. I'm more concerned about the ability to create interesting game loops. I'm focusing on that, but and keeping it simple and minimal. This is what I want, actually, which is hard to find in China or Hong Kong or Japan or Taiwan. I have to go to the States for that. Game designers are quite hard to find, actually. But yeah, we've been posting and searching. I've actually hired a headhunter to help me look for one. Let's let me type out the new plans and directions and what we are looking for, and the new season proposal first. Will he now? I'm definitely happy to have Big Sword help handle, but let's see. I think Big Sword has its own plans as well. Well, It's not as easy as it looks in design. It's actually a lot more mathematic. Oh, he can allocate the mathematic portion, I guess. But anyway, I have to run. So I'll give pause to the AMA here. You guys can feel free to continue type your questions that you want answered or something in the AMA channel or in this chat. And then I'll type everything out to help you guys understand what I just said and give suggestions. And then I will follow back with another AMA next week to discuss everything together with everyone. Okay? All right. Thanks, guys. Good to see you again, Housebrand.